The high inflation we are experiencing is exacting a high political price from those who have helped jack it up, which in my opinion is justified. The Federal Reserve has said it intends to do what is necessary to bring inflation under control, even if it means scorched earth. And yet, despite their efforts up to this point, inflation remains high. What if high inflation is actually the goal? We will consider that proposition in this video. If this analysis suits you, please like and subscribe. Now, the purpose of this channel is to raise up philosopher kings. One of the characteristics of a philosopher king, or woman, is that he knows that none of us can know definitively what the true state of affairs is, as there is too much data to crunch, and the motives of the people involved are inscrutable. We have their words and we have their actions, and both could be a lie. But we also know that the people in charge, in the main, are morons. Malevolent morons, even. You can always count on our leaders to F it up. It's always just a matter of time. As philosopher kings, we must be ready for that time. So we must weigh the possibility high inflation is what they want, rather than something they are fighting against. Why a government might want high inflation may seem unfathomable to you. If so, I strongly encourage you to read and research the topics of hyperinflation, central banks, sovereign default, and so on. Those who do study this know that such an idea is, sadly, plausible. It also should be said that even if the goal this time is to bring down inflation, the situation is such that it is inevitable that in some future next time it will be different. It's frankly a miracle we haven't reached that next time already. At any rate, you must be aware and prepare. Here's the deal. The world is massively in debt. The United States is massively in debt. This screenshot of the national debt as of the making of this video paints a sorry picture. There is the federal debt, yes, but also unfunded liabilities. It is getting worse and will get worse. There will come a point where that debt cannot be serviced. Aha! But there is one way nations have escaped their debt, by making their currency increasingly worthless. Consider this quote from Adam Ferguson's When Money Dies. When war came back, so did inflation. With inflation alone, can a government extinguish debt without repayment, or wage war and engage in other non-productive activities on a large scale? It is still not recognized as a tax by the taxpayer. The formula is simple. If you owe $1 trillion, and you don't have it, and you have control of the printing presses, all you need to do is print your trillions of dollars and pay off your debt that way. Doing this will get rid of the debt by making its real value smaller. Play this game enough and the clock runs out. You get hyperinflation, a pretty scary scenario. Our Fed insists this time is different. Note what Ferguson said. It is still not recognized as a tax by the taxpayer. The above described scheme is, in fact, a tax, but since most people are conditioned sheeple who take their marching orders from tweets and headlines of so-called experts and their decrees, they never perceive it as a tax. But it is. The government gets a benefit, while the rest of us have to pay more of our increasingly worthless dollars to obtain the things we want and the things we need. Then a point comes when we can't afford the things that we want, so we buy only the things we need. Then we can't buy the things we need either. And you know what? The elites are good with that, because they are in tight with the money printers and money changers, and they'll always be able to do what we can't. Simply print more worthless dollars. History tells us this never ends well, and it often smothers the elites under their own blankets. Their stupidity is reflected in their "this time is different" attitude. But that's the thing about reality. It always asserts itself. It always stands up at some point and declares, "This time is the same." At this time, there are some wrinkles which make it hard to determine how intentional the inflation is. The US dollar, for example, is getting stronger. Precious metals, which ought to be increasing in value, are decreasing in value. I believe that this is an illusion or a temporary accident. After all, the strengthening of the dollar is relative to other currencies. It isn't like Americans are able to buy more with their dollars than they could before. However, other currencies are struggling to stay out of freefall, as evidenced by what happened in England not long ago. There is a move out of other currencies to the global reserve currency, the US dollar, as a haven. Thus, we are getting to enjoy a neat little paradox where our purchasing power is dropping due to inflation, which is actually a tax, but the value of the dollar relative to other currencies is going up. This is a clue telling us that the world is worse off than we realize and acknowledge, but it doesn't mean the US is better off. It looks to me like the global Titanic is sinking and everyone is piling into the last lifeboat, which happens to be the one owned by the US. Two problems. A lifeboat can't hold an infinite number of people, and if the entire world is sinking, there is no one left to come fetch the lifeboat and its passengers who are being tossed around by ocean waves in iceberg-infested territory. You'd best be acquiring your own lifeboat then, and be stocking it appropriately. This is a big topic, and I have a lot more to say about it. Like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. For now, I'm going to put a longer quote from Ferguson's book in a post on my YouTube channel. It will give you something to think about, and maybe in a future video, I'll drill down into it a bit. Stay frosty, Philosopher Kings. Stay frosty.